The National Electrical Code, or NEC, does not provide a specific definition for the term system within Article 645. Article 645 of the NEC pertains to information technology equipment and systems. The scope of this article includes equipment, power supply wiring, equipment interconnecting wiring and grounding of information technology equipment and systems, including terminal units, within an information technology equipment room. Because the NEC does not offer a concrete definition of system in this context, the interpretation of the term is subject to the discretion of the authority having jurisdiction, or OJ, and qualified electrical professionals. The lack of a formal definition means that the scope and boundaries of what constitutes a system must be determined based on the specific installation and the context in which the equipment operates. In practical terms, when applying Article 645, it is crucial to consider all interconnected components and their functions to determine whether they should be considered part of the information technology system. This would encompass servers, computers, networking equipment, power distribution units, or PDUs, and any other associated devices located within the information technology equipment room. When evaluating an information technology installation, several factors contribute to defining the system. Firstly, the functional relationship between different components is paramount. If multiple devices work together to perform a specific task or set of tasks, they can be regarded as a system. Secondly, the physical arrangement and interconnection of the components are also significant. Equipment that is closely connected and relies on shared resources is more likely to be viewed as part of the same system. Thirdly, the purpose and operational characteristics of the equipment should be taken into account. Equipment that serves a common goal, such as data processing or network communication, may be considered a unified system. Although the NEC does not define the term system within Article 645, other sections of the Code and related standards provide definitions that may be relevant. For example, Article 100 of the NEC contains definitions of general terms used throughout the Code, and while it may not offer a direct definition of system applicable to Article 645, it could provide guidance on interpreting the term. Furthermore, industry standards developed by organizations such as the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, or IEE, and the International Organization for Standardization, or ISER, may offer additional insight into the meaning of system in the context of information technology. To ensure compliance with Article 645, it is advisable to consult with the authority having jurisdiction, OJ, and other qualified professionals during the design and installation phases of an information technology equipment room. These experts can provide guidance on how to interpret the term system in the specific context of the installation and ensure that all applicable requirements of the NEC are met. In addition to defining what constitutes a system, it is also important to consider the implications of Article 645 for the wiring and grounding of information technology equipment. This article contains specific requirements for power supply wiring, equipment interconnecting wiring, and grounding to ensure the safety and reliability of the installation. These requirements address issues such as overcurrent protection, conductor ampacity, and grounding electrode systems. Understanding the requirements of Article 645 is essential for anyone involved in the design, installation, or maintenance of information technology equipment rooms. Failure to comply with these requirements can result in electrical hazards, equipment damage, and violations of the NEC. In summary, while the NEC does not provide a specific definition of system in Article 645, the term should be interpreted broadly to include all interconnected components that work together to perform information technology functions within an information technology equipment room. Consulting with the authority having jurisdiction, or OJ, and other qualified professionals is recommended to ensure compliance with the NEC and to address any uncertainties regarding the scope and application of Article 645. When working with electrical codes and standards, it is important to understand that they are constantly evolving to keep pace with technological advancements and to address emerging safety concerns. The NEC is revised and updated every 3 years through a consensus-based process that involves input from electrical professionals, manufacturers, and other stakeholders. This ensures that the code remains relevant and effective in protecting people and property from electrical hazards. Staying informed about the latest changes to the NEC is crucial for electrical contractors, engineers, and inspectors. This can be achieved by participating in continuing education courses, attending industry conferences, and subscribing to relevant publications. By staying up to date on the latest developments, professionals can ensure that their work complies with the most current safety standards and best practices. When designing and installing electrical systems for information technology equipment rooms, it is important to consider the specific needs and requirements of the equipment being used. This includes factors such as power consumption, cooling requirements, and grounding sensitivity. Information technology equipment often requires a clean and stable power supply to operate reliably, so it is important to provide adequate overcurrent protection and voltage regulation. Additionally, proper grounding is essential to prevent electrical noise and to protect equipment from damage due to surges and other transient events. In addition to the NEC, other standards and guidelines may be relevant to the design and installation of information technology equipment rooms. For example, the Telecommunications Industry Association, or TIRE, developed standards for cabling and networking infrastructure, while the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating and Air Conditioning Engineers, or ASHRAE, provides guidance on cooling and ventilation. Considering these standards and guidelines in addition to the NEC can help to ensure that the installation meets all applicable requirements and best practices. In conclusion, while the NEC does not explicitly define system in Article 645, understanding the scope and requirements of this article is crucial for ensuring the safety and reliability of information technology equipment rooms. By considering the functional relationships, physical arrangements, and operational characteristics of the equipment, and by consulting with qualified professionals, it is possible to interpret the term system in a way that complies with the NEC and provides a safe and effective electrical installation. Remember to always stay informed about the latest changes to the NEC and other relevant standards and guidelines to ensure that your work meets the highest standards of safety and quality. The National Electrical Code serves as a cornerstone for electrical safety in buildings and facilities. It's important to consult the latest edition of the NEC and any local amendments to ensure compliance with the applicable regulations. The information provided here is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional electrical engineering advice. Electrical work should always be performed by qualified and licensed professionals. When dealing with information technology equipment rooms, it is crucial to maintain a high level of safety and reliability. The proper design, installation, and maintenance of the electrical system are essential for protecting equipment and personnel from electrical hazards. By following the requirements of the NEC and other relevant standards, you can help to ensure a safe and productive environment for information technology operations. It is also important to conduct regular inspections and testing of the electrical system to identify and address any potential problems before they can cause damage or injury. This includes testing ground connections, checking for loose wiring, and verifying the operation of overcurrent protection devices. By taking a proactive approach to electrical safety, you can minimize the risk of accidents and ensure the continued operation of critical information technology infrastructure. While the NEC provides a comprehensive set of requirements for electrical installations, it is not a substitute for good engineering judgment. Electrical engineers and other qualified professionals should use their knowledge and experience to design and install electrical systems that meet the specific needs of the application while also complying with all applicable codes and standards. It is important to consider factors such as the load requirements, environmental conditions, and future expansion needs when designing an electrical system. By taking a holistic approach to electrical design, you can ensure that the system is safe, reliable, and efficient. One aspect that the NEC addresses directly is the concept of bonding and grounding. Proper bonding and grounding are essential for minimizing the risk of electrical shock and for providing a path for fault current to flow back to the source, allowing overcurrent protection devices to operate and clear the fault. The NEC specifies detailed requirements for grounding electrode systems, equipment grounding conductors, and bonding jumpers. These requirements are designed to ensure that all conductive parts of the electrical system are properly grounded and bonded together, creating a low impedance path for fault current. Another important consideration when working with information technology equipment rooms is the potential for electromagnetic interference, or EMI. Information technology equipment can generate significant amounts of EMI, which can interfere with the operation of other electronic devices. To minimize EMI, it is important to use shielded cables, install filters on power lines, and provide adequate grounding. The NEC also contains requirements for minimizing EMI in certain types of electrical installations. Surge protection is another critical aspect of electrical safety for information technology equipment rooms. Surges can damage sensitive electronic equipment and disrupt operations. To protect against surges, it is important to install surge protective devices, or SPDs, at the service entrance and at branch circuits that feed sensitive equipment. The NEC provides guidance on the selection and installation of surge protective devices. The NEC addresses the need to ensure adequate working space around electrical equipment to allow for safe operation and maintenance. This working space must be kept clear of obstructions and must provide sufficient room for electricians to perform their work safely. The NEC specifies minimum dimensions for working space based on the voltage and current rating of the equipment. This is especially important in information technology equipment rooms where space may be limited. In addition to the NEC, other codes and standards may be applicable to information technology equipment rooms depending on the location and type of facility. These may include building codes, fire codes, and accessibility codes. It is important to consult with local authorities to determine which codes and standards are applicable to a particular installation. The NEC also contains requirements for labeling and marking of electrical equipment. This includes labeling of circuit breakers, disconnect switches, and other devices to clearly identify their function and purpose. Proper labeling is essential for safe operation and maintenance of the electrical system. The NEC requires that electrical equipment be listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, or ALL, or Intertek, or et al. This listing and labeling indicates that the equipment has been tested and found to comply with applicable safety standards. Only listed and labeled equipment should be used in electrical installations.